Hey everybody, Eric, EK Endurance Coaching, another video here for you on goal setting. I got a couple of comments from that story that I put up asking what other people want to hear about. I got a couple regarding goal setting and how to go about that. One was specific to triathlon. There was another one that was they're doing their first really long gravel race. Um, and so um, I do goal setting a little bit differently, I think, than some people. But either way, a couple of things to just keep in mind. I like to have two sets of goals. And depending on what type of athlete you are, one of them will be more uncomfortable for you to do. But the thing with goals, we want to push ourselves into new areas. And so this is good to do. The two sets of these goals are, one is a competitive goal and one is what I call a personal goal. So I'll explain a little bit further. The competitive goal is kind of obvious. It involves uh, placing or maybe a time. Um, Hopefully not a time. I'm not a big time goal guy, especially for more dynamic races, obviously. But um, it involves other people. It involves things that we can't control. So if you're a competitive person and you're trying to qualify for world championships, you're trying to win the mountain bike series, win the race, be on the podium in your age group, whatever it is, that's obvious. Those are good goals to have. Even if you're not a competitive person, though, if you're doing a type of race, the same type of race again, it's worth, I think, often we see people, they want to finish strong or they want to like do better than last year. Give yourself a little bit of a competitive goal. And it's okay to be ambitious with it. We want them to be reasonable, but um, you know, uh, be ambitious. And even if you're not a competitive person, I think it's okay. Like, I want to do better than last year. I want to be 50% in the top half of my age group, or whatever the case is. Um, so go ahead and make those goals. They can be very specific for one event, like what I just the example I just gave you, or they can be a little bit broader with a series, or you know um, for the season or something like that. I'd like to place much better in all of these races. I don't want to have up and down results is a common one that I see with people and that I hear. They're really good one race, and then but the next month they go to the next local race and they're horrible, and then they're good again. So all of that kind of stuff, good competitive goals. The the uh, the other one is the personal goals, and this is something that is only involves you, doesn't involve other people, and it kind of fits into that training objective area. I think Training Peaks calls them training objectives, but um, so these are personal goals to you that could be, again, broad or very specific. I want to do this wattage on the bike. I want to. It could be, I want to run this pace. And so, if you're doing a individual time trial like event, like running a marathon, doing a triathlon, things like that, non-draft triathlon, of course, um, these are pretty easy to come up with, and you can be very specific about them. The If you're doing a race that like is a gravel race or mountain bike race, more dynamic, you have a group aspect, road cycling, things like that. There's a lot of things out of your control, and so with those races, but even the time trial events like a marathon or a triathlon, you can have broader kind of personal goals. I want to execute better. I want to have better mental attitude, better mental toughness in my race. You might have nutrition, fueling goals that you want to do better with. And so um, those kind of goals are also great to have and very important. And I always find that depending on the type of athlete I'm working with, I'm always pushing them to have one or the other. I think these are especially important for competitive athletes. I want to be on the podium. I want to qualify for, world championships. 70.3 Kona, whatever the case is. Well, okay, great. What are your personal goals? What are, and like I said, these can be kind of training objectives, um, but a little bit beyond the training objectives. Like, what are we going to do in the race? These things are going to kind of lead you to your end goal. And I get into this a little bit more in depth in the purpose and process videos that I did, which you can check out on the YouTube channel. I think there's 2 of them. And and when you do this, and I've done this with many athletes, both in road cycling and mountain biking and triathlon, and I've had it happen both ways, where you have an athlete who their performance, their personal performance, the wattage they did, the paces they ran, et cetera, aren't that great for them. But they still did very, very well in the race. They placed very high. I had an athlete one time that won an event overall, female, but her performance wasn't super great. It's a smaller race. It was a smaller local race, of course. But, so it's good to look at both of these things. On the other side of that, I've had people that did worse at the same races they did the year before, placing wise, but their performance was much, much better. The other thing is this can also help you identify where kind of your weak areas might be, especially if you're a more competitive person. When you have a great performance, but you didn't get the result you wanted, you can start looking at why and start investigating. And you can do this with gravel racing and all this other stuff as well. You can start investigating why you didn't go as fast as you needed to get that goal, to get on the podium, to make the winning breakaway. In the individual cycling events, especially, I would have athletes lap their their cycling computer when they got dropped. So if you get dropped, and then usually it doesn't happen just in one moment, but when you're dropped, go ahead and mark your computer so we can go back and look at what led up to that point. And of course, it's the whole race from start to finish that led up to that point. But a lot of the times, and I've done this with myself too, you can see the power numbers and the heart rate, how the body reacted, and what you had to do in the sequence of what you had to do that led to you getting dropped. And if you, again, investigate and think about it and talk through it with a friend or coach or whoever, you can also usually find some tactical errors or some things that you could have done better tactically. Maybe the nutrition wasn't maybe as good as you wanted it to be. So there's all kinds of different areas that you can investigate. But again, the goal setting part of this, having both of those sets of goals and really trying to separate them out, really looking at them with a separate lens. So this can often help people keep them from getting too down on themselves with a bad result, with a good performance, and also vice versa. If they do have a good performance, you can look at, they do have a good result, you can look at your personal performance and how you did and where you need to improve on, and how you can do that the next time around. So quick little talk on goal setting there. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Train safe. See you soon.